Welcome to the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Interviews, a series we created to give even more exposure to startups from the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Network. Today we're here with Tony Hildrew of Marinsight. Marinsight utilizes the power of AI and machine learning to collect, process, and cleanse big data within the maritime industry to provide analytic solutions to the maritime insurance market. So welcome, Tony, welcome.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good to see you. Very well, thank you. Very well. Still locked in at home. I think you are also locked at home. Hopefully now they are slowly opening up. Let's see what happens. So where are you based?
So we're based in Newcastle upon Tyne, so the northeast of England.
Right.
We have a lot of rich maritime history up here.
Absolutely.
So it's a definitely good space to be located in.
Yeah. Okay, so can you tell us something about your company and maybe how it came to be, your background, whatever that fits in this like general view of what your company is?
So for the last 8 years, I've been working as a marine engineer, actually on board ships. And on a daily basis, I've been exposed to the vast number of data points analyzed by the integrated monitoring system. So when I transferred to a shoreside role, I currently work as a yacht manager now, and we're in the process of renewing policies. And every time we seem to renew a policy for a yacht, the process does tend to be a little slow. So I thought, how can I possibly speed up the way that data is accessed and accessed at a more accurate level? And I thought, well, actually, there's a lot of data already available for insurers, for anybody that wants it. It's just currently contained on board a ship. So the engineers on board the ship, every day they take a log and they analyze the data to identify trends. And that way they can determine whether something is going to break down or if something is running at its optimal capacity.
Yep.
So the idea came from a little bit of frustration and a combination of experience. And I thought, well, if we combine the data that's already available on board a ship and use a very powerful tool in artificial intelligence and machine learning processes, then we could speed up the whole policy renewal and policy quotation process for marine insurance. And marine insurance is a huge market where there are a lot of assumptions made when writing a policy.
Yeah.
So why not transfer from making assumptions to using accurate data?
Yeah.
And that's where it sort of started. And now I'm on this crazy road to see where we end up.
Yeah, but it's very interesting because what I really like is that it came out from professionals on the field that had problems and that knew that there were some stuff that was not working well, and that said, okay, let's make it work better and let's use technologies, whatever, to make it work better. So now you said that you are or were working on yachts. Now, is your company targeting specifically yacht insurance or more broadly maritime insurance to ships and larger ships?
No, we're targeting the full maritime insurance industry, from merchant vessels to commercial yachts. So currently there's around 50,000 operational vessels in the merchant fleet and around 10,000 operational vessels in the sort of pleasure craft / private yachting fleet.
Yeah.
So there's a big scope across the worldwide fleet for this type of technology to be implemented.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, when we say 10,000 yachts I mean, the audience here is mostly maritime commercial. So the 50,000 ships. when we say 10,000 yachts, we mean 10,000 super yachts, like yachts that are considered ships, so over 24 meters,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's important. Because also, I have a yacht, but it's just 32 foot, so doesn't count. uh, but yeah. So very interesting. Now, so I see. So there is collection of data, analysis of data, and then production of results that are interesting for insurance purposes. So I think this is your position. So you're positioning to work for the insurance industry and being able to collect data from the ships. But how are you going to do this? How are you going to collect data from the ships? I think this is a very, very tricky part, because there are 1,000,001 systems on every ship, times 50,000, of different things that don't talk to each other, that everyone has their own system, and it's very difficult to really extract data. And in fact, unfortunately, so far the role of one of the roles of the engineer on board was to be the switchboard of all these inputs from different screens that wouldn't talk to each other. And it is great, but if it can be automated and you can focus on some bigger scale perspective, would be much better. So how you integrate this data coming from all over the place on board?
So great question. That is, as a company, that is our biggest problem, and a one in which we intend on solving, hopefully very quickly. So all of the monitoring equipment on board of a ship does feed back to an integrated monitoring system with a central unit. And the plan is to literally just extract the data and transfer over an internet connection back to our servers, where we can then put the data through our platform, and in that process we cleanse it, we identify any anomalies. The data is then going to be combined with some separate data sets, including historical claims data for each vessel, and also for location with advanced AIS tracking, so you can determine where the ship is, what its heading is, how many times it calls into port, whether it's fully loaded with cargo, etc., etc. So we're going to use our platform to bring all of this together and basically create a very comprehensive risk profile where an insurer can then determine, okay, this vessel is at a greater risk of making a claim because of X, Y, and Z, and it's focused on accurate data rather than assumptions. So going back to how we're going to extract the data, initially the data would be transmitted from a ship when it is within sort of cell signal range, using 4G, something like that. And then as connectivity improves and we manage to get the size of the files down that we would require, then we would then update that frequency from maybe on a daily basis or a weekly basis to then more so on every 12 hours.
And
every
shorter.
hour.
But even
So
real
as the file,
if the bandwidth allows it. So well, I would say that being part of the maritime startup ecosystem network and being potentially in close contact with all the other startups in the network might help you find the right startups in a way to partner with for data extraction or for data transfer. There are many startups that do things in the same space that you are working, and there could be potentially interesting collaborations. And I think this is one of the objectives that we have with the creation of the new platform on Startup Wharf, where you are part of, and where actually we will publish this video and with other information about your company. to allow this kind of exchange. So not only maritime companies and startups, so startups and maritime companies, but also startups and to startups, because there is really value to be generated from the interaction of startup with each other. Okay, so from all what you're telling me, I sort of gather that you are probably in a pilot phase with some clients, or in, like, in an early stage. So how are you doing? What stage? Actually, this is my assumption, but you tell us what stage of development you are. If it's just an idea, concept. If there is already a product. If there is a product that is being tested with specific ships in pilot programs, projects, or whatever.
Yeah, so currently we're still at concept stage, and we're looking to secure some investment to develop our MVP to start with, and then after that we'll look at a second stage of development to produce something that works a lot better for particular clients. We're always on the lookout for partnership agreements and to collaborate with companies in the maritime industry to work on a mutually beneficial ground. Yeah. So we want to provide not only a service to insurers, but we want to provide a service to shipping companies, because the level of analytics that we intend to carry out with our platform will also be able to produce simulations for predictive maintenance. So you can get a good idea as to when a breakdown is going to occur by a computer software analyzing all of the data that we input into it and comparing it eventually across a fleet of 500 ships, 1,000 ships, or 5,000 ships. Yeah. So we can hone down to get a very pinpoint accurate simulation model that will tell a ship owner, okay, your exhaust valves are going to fail within 2 days, judging by the data that's being produced by the main engine monitoring system.
Right.
So yeah, we are currently at a concept stage, and with investment, we will then move into producing our minimum viable product, and then further development after that.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, so I gather more stuff about from what you're telling me. So you're very well versed in the lean startup concepts, minimum viable product, and how to develop. And actually, this is a tricky part, or could be a tricky part for a professional that comes from the industry and that wants to innovate and create something, but they might not have the tools to do innovation the startup way, in a way. So you got these tools, and that's great, and this understanding, and it's great. Then I guess, talking about investment, we really want to give exposure to startups, give startups exposure to also investors. There are not many that are specifically interested in maritime. Unfortunately, if you just go out and knock at investors' doors, probably not even 9 out of 10, but probably 999 out of 1,000 will tell you, maritime, what is this? Or it's too dangerous, or no, I prefer whatever, real estate, or whatever, B2C, business to consumer, whatever. Very few are interested in maritime. We are fortunate that with the infographic, we attracted them. So we know several investors who are specifically focusing on maritime. And this is also part of the service that we want to offer by bringing the startups on a place altogether, in the same place, where investors can look at them and really understand what the startups are doing, and finally find the right material to invest in. So when you say you're looking for investment, I guess you're looking for seed investment. Do you have an idea of the level of investment you're looking for? Profile of investor?
So We have discussed with a number of finance institutions, and talks are still ongoing. At the moment, we would be looking at around £50,000 to get to the MVP stage, with then a further £250,000 to get us to the final product. And then after that, we'd be looking at potentially another 100,000 to make any changes and for expansion.
Okay, okay. So definitely, yeah, 50K for the MVP, so the product validation in a way, getting to product market fit, then 250 getting to a finalized product, and probably starting to explore and define the right business model. So who is exactly your client? If it's a maritime company, if it's the insurer, which of course from outside, like in general terms, you say, okay, well, these guys offer the link between the two, but really a business decision is an important business decision is to decide, well, who is my client? Who am I? Who pays the bills, basically? The client or the insurer? And there are pros and cons in both sides in terms of number of clients, scalability, but also the power, the negotiating power of the client. But I think you'll get to this when you have the product developed. And I would say yes, now to an investor that sees this, and this video will be, as I said, on your page on the platform. So, well, this is a startup that is doing something really very interesting, with some real experience and expertise from within, from the field. It's an interesting like opportunity. And for the startups, well, look, guys, there are great opportunities to engage and to really create value together to get like to the next level. And definitely, I already like see that there are several startups on the network that could be relevant for you. I don't want to pinpoint them right now here on a public interview, because it wouldn't be fair if I forget someone. But definitely we're going to talk about this later. Well, yeah, I think, well, welcome to the startup world, from the world of really being out at sea, which is, well, it's completely different. And actually, it's a word that people like on land really find it very difficult to figure how it is being out at sea. So if for people who have been at sea, it is a great advantage, because they really can bring something that is relevant for seafarers in a way that no one else is able, because it's a completely different world. Again, thank you very much. I really hope that you're going to do great, and well, we catch up next time when you raise your first round or next round, and you are really going big. Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.